the first and last matches of football players. Let's dive into the story of this dude who's so cocky he's known as the football god.
The fans were demanding something and I gave them Zlatan.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic was one of the greatest strikers the world has ever seen, but guess what? He's retired now. His journey started way back in 1995 when he joined the youth setup at Malmo, Sweden's top team. The dude made an impact right from the start, scoring a stunning goal in his debut for the first team. After that stellar start, Zlatan proved he was the real deal. When Arsenal wanted to test him out, the guy just said, "Zlatan doesn't do tests." Now that's some serious attitude, and that became his trademark legendary goals and controversial quotes. Ibra played for big clubs like Milan, Inter Milan, Barcelona and Juventus, but he truly made his mark at Paris Saint-Germain. Yep, he's the guy who put PSG on the map in European football. But time catches up with everyone, even the football god, though things were a bit different for him. Ibra aged like fine wine. While younger players were retiring, he went back to Italian football and led Milan to a title after years without one.
Perché Milano non è Milan. Italia è Milan!
And in his last season, he almost saw his team win the Champions League. But Milan fell short in the semis against Inter Milan. And you know what? That's the only thing missing from his career, but I doubt he'll lose sleep over it, because Ibra's going to be etched in the memories of those who saw him play with those jaw-dropping acrobatic goals. In his farewell match, he couldn't hold back the tears, and neither could his teammates. And of course, the legend scored in his farewell game. He even secured his spot in history as one of the 20 players to score over 500 career goals. But no player had a farewell as controversial as Zinedine Zidane's. The career of the greatest French player started right in France, but in really small teams. And there's not even records of his first official match. So much so that the first somewhat decent team the legend played for was Cannes. And that's where the world started noticing him. His first goal wearing the Cannes shirt was a masterpiece. And yeah, back then, he rocked the number 9 jersey. With time, he caught the eye of a bigger team in France, Bordeaux, and it was just a matter of time before Zidane emerged onto the football scene. Juventus spotted his talent, where he became a supreme idol, and years later, he became one of Real Madrid's first Galacticos, where he pulled off that stunner in the 2002 Champions League final. But where he truly shined was in the World Cup, and it was in a final that he bid farewell to football and played his last game. Zidane had already won a World Cup in 1998, beating Brazil in the final. And in 2006, the Frenchman tried to have the greatest ending to his career of all time. He confirmed that it would be his last tournament as a player, and France made it to the final. And there's no denying it. Zidane is one of the best players in history. Check out his last goal of his career in a World Cup final, face-to-face with Buffon, one of the best goalkeepers of all time.
Ricardo got a hand to it. It's Zinedine Zidane here. Oh, it crossed the line, it's a goal. But how lucky almost is that? How casual, how cheeky. Only
To chip it in like that takes some serious guts. But Zidane did something that marked his entire career. When the game was heading towards the end, he did that to Materazzi. Yeah, in the final moment, he lost his cool, got sent off, and France lost the World Cup. It had all the makings of the best farewell ever, and it turned out to be the worst possible. Speaking of Buffon, the most legendary goalkeeper in history retired just a little while ago, and at almost 50 years old. The legend's first game was for Parma, the club that brought him up, and it was against Milan. But he didn't disappoint. He ended the game without conceding any goals, and he made some solid saves during the match.
Well, it was straight at Buffon. Missing Boban. Boban with the shot. One last chance perhaps brewing here. Where then Baggio! Bundled over by Sensini. The cross in was by Bonucci. Boban's challenge. And again, a confident claim by Buffon.
After a long stint at Parma, he moved to Juventus, where he became the legend we know. Then he had a stint at PSG, although nobody really remembers that, and returned to Juventus. But it was there that he did something that touched all the fans deeply. Most players choose to retire at a club in Arabia or the United States, but Buffon did something more impactful. The guy decided to go back to Parma to finish his career. The club that gave him his start wasn't doing so well. And Buffon returned on a super low salary, meaning he just wanted to help out the club that gave him a shot early in his career. And he stayed there until last year. He retired at almost 50 years old. Obviously, he wore the captain's armband, but his last match was pretty sad. His team ended up losing 3-2, and yeah, Buffon let in 3 goals in his farewell. But of course, he made some beautiful saves. In the end, he didn't fulfill the fans' dream of getting Parma back to Serie A, and there wasn't even a farewell party because the legend only announced his retirement sometime after his last game. So the fans could only bid farewell on social media, where Buffon posted, "That's it, folks. You gave me everything. I gave you everything. We did this together." Now, tell me, can you imagine what this guy's last game will be like?
Cristiano de bicicleta, minha nossa! Minha nossa!
Bate, pé direito da bola, passou pela barreira!
Va el Madrid, va Cristiano, se engancha y le pega, va Cristiano al arco. ¡Gol!
Cristiano started playing football at a young age. Since childhood, he was part of youth teams of small clubs. But in 1995, the impossible happened. Ronaldo used to play in the youth teams of Clube Desportivo Nacional, and after 2 years in the club's youth setup, he got the chance to play for Sporting Clube de Portugal, all because Nacional owed 450,000 euros. Little did Sporting's executives know they were about to sign the greatest player in Portugal's history, but almost, Ronaldo's dreams were dashed. To play for Sporting, Cristiano Ronaldo would have to leave his family on Madeira Island and move to Lisbon, all at just 12 years old. Certainly it wasn't an easy decision, but Cristiano was destined to be one of the greatest of all time. And you can only get that far by making sacrifices. And that's exactly where this legend's story began. In 2002, the football world met Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro when the shy 17-year-old came off the bench at 32 minutes into the second half to start his journey in professional football. And his debut was in a big game. Sporting was fighting against Inter Milan for a spot in the Champions League. Sporting ended up drawing the match and missing out on the Champions League. But I wonder if Cristiano already thought about becoming the greatest player in the competition in the future. Well, shortly after that match, Sporting played a friendly against Manchester United. And Alex Ferguson saw that the kid had potential, and the rest is history. The guy won 5 Champions Leagues, being the main man in all of them, became the top scorer and the top assister in the competition, was named the best in the world 5 times, won a historic Euro, and well, if we talk about everything he won, the video would be endless. But the truth is, we're nearing the end of this monster's career. His last match, at the time of recording this video, was on March 11th, 2024, between Al Nassr and Al Ain. And guess who scored the winning goal? Exactly. Cristiano Ronaldo. Al Nassr won the match 4-3, and even though Cristiano decided it, they got eliminated from the Asian Champions League. Fortunately, he hasn't retired yet, but just a heads up, these could be the last games of the greatest player in history, so enjoy.